the early 90s, you know, it started getting more and more where real artists were doing it instead of you know, bikers and just people like, you know, the corny people and stuff. But that's where it really started changing, because you can't just take a stencil off the wall anymore and put it on somebody and just follow the stencil. They want something custom, so you got to draw it, change it, talk to the customer, make it to fit what their ideas are. And that's another thing with it, because you're sitting there and you're talking to the person, and to me, you've got to get in their brain and understand what they're trying to do a lot of times, because they don't really know exactly how it's supposed to come out, but they've got this idea. And that's what you kind of work with them until you get it right, you know. It's a service. It's not like there's a lot of tattoo artists too that have this really bad attitude, like, you know, I'm the artist, you're the customer, sit down and I'm gonna do what I want to do. And that's not the way it should be. It should be you working with somebody and you want to do their tattoo the way you want the idea that they have, but you want to do it your way, you know, because you know it's gonna look the best on the skin. Well, you should know anyway. Because a lot of times their ideas of what would look good as a tattoo is not going to look good as a tattoo. You know.
I think we deal with that as an artist. I mean, I deal with that even from graphic design I've designed some tattoos for some friends. One of my friends who played for LSU, he'd come in with a weird idea. It'll be off the wall. And typically as an artist, I would do two versions. I would do what they asked me. Then I do what I feel will work best, and typically it always works out. Whatever you chose to do,
right,
works out the best. But
it should fit the body part too. You know, like the arms, it's more straight. You got the curve of the shoulder. You got the tricep, so you want to flow with that. You know, and if somebody's got real muscular, you really want to follow their muscles. You know, and make it look really nice. You know, so it fits.
I didn't think, well, so I can tell you are probably the first artist I ever heard to actually put that much detail or thought into it. I know most people, they don't think that deep into it.
The artists that I know and the ones that I admire do. And that's the ones I've gone to learn, you know. And a lot of them started when I started. And we were friends, and we became friends. And we still talk and everything. But we all had the same idea, you know. Some of them have just gotten really into the tricks, you know, following the contour of the skin, you know, and the muscles and the shapes. You know, you got the chest, that's a round spot, so you want to do something more round. You don't want to put something right, you know, straight up and down there. You want to do something that's round, you know, and same thing with anyways. You follow that.
So, I guess you would say more so like a woman dressing. She would dress for her silhouette and fit her body type to accentuate certain things. You want that tattoo to accentuate.
Same thing, yeah. Like the women that wear these crazy, too tight, or, you know, stuff that just makes them look worse. They don't, that's exactly, yeah. Same thing. Hairstyles too, you know. Some things that accentuate big nose and your big ears. You get the short haircut where you got the big old ears.
I see that because I've seen a couple of work you did for my brother on his arm, and it started off as one piece and now it's grown to a sleeve, and every time I look back, he kind of has his arm like a charm bracelet almost, where every time you look, he might have a little extra something here, a little extra something there, fit in between, that as you look at it, it becomes a piece that continuously grows, but it grows as the theme revolves around it. A lot of times I see people try to do a sleeve, but their sleeve doesn't have any pattern to it. It doesn't flow properly.
Right.
And it just looks like a bunch of junk. Like somebody took magnets and threw it on a refrigerator, and it has no rhyme or reason to it. But it's like, hey, I like it. Compared to when I look at yours, you can follow like reading a storybook. You go from page to page, and it continuously flows.
And the way I did mine was not the way that I would normally do it to somebody now. I mean, I just chose I wanted big pieces that fit the spot, you know, because that at that time that was more of what we did, and I was collecting pieces from people that I admired too. But like if somebody comes in and wants a sleeve, or it has the slightest inkling that they might get a sleeve, or if I think that they might get a sleeve, you know, because I can tell sometimes. You know, you start and you really want to plan the whole thing out so that it flows eventually, you know. That's what I tell people all the time.
Gee, I still hear your pieces that people have done for you. Do you go back and touch them up?
Never. I've never touched up any tattoo.
I do know some people do go back and touch them up. Like, let's say, depending on the type of needle or ink the person used before, it might blur. Now they come back, just tighten the lines up a little bit, or it faded a little bit, they might touch it up.
But that's the thing, you know. I mean, this tattoo here is probably, I got this in like 1990. So that's 27 years. And that's still holding up. If somebody knows what they're doing and they do it right, it shouldn't blur. The only reason it blurs is if it's too small. Like, this right here was, Doc Don did this. It was a good tattoo when he did it, but as the years have passed, all of this is blurred together. This was all real detailed. You know, you can see every skull. The face on the woman is gone, you know. But that's part of the tattoo. I mean, it's just like the way it ages is part of the whole thing to me, you know. So I'm not. I go in there, I see all kinds of things that are messed up, not messed up, but aren't exactly perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect tattoo. You know, because it's a one-shot thing. You know, you get one shot at it. So if you're a little bit off, you just gotta make it look right.
That was my worst part about drawing though, man. My brother was real technical. He always draw pins. And I hated drawing with pins because one mess up, my whole piece is ruined.
Right.
And that fear of, at least with a pencil I can erase to some degree and I can build, but it's that permanence that just says that. It was fitting for him considering he cuts hair. If you mess somebody's hair up, hey, you done mess somebody else. Seriously.
Yeah, a lot of the hairdressers, they don't, it grows back, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Tattoos are there permanent though.
So
you gotta think about that.
But it was fitting for him as an artist who now, if he's cutting designs or drawing something in somebody's head, I mean, you only get one shot, that canvas get messed up, there's no fixing that.
Right. Or if you do have to fix it, like sometimes people come in with stuff that they got somewhere else and they want you to fix it. I have no problem with working on somebody else's work. There's a lot of people that say, I can't work, somebody else did it, you know. To me, that guy that you're talking to is not happy with his tattoo. He wants you because he trusts you to fix his tattoo. And that's a compliment to me, you know, when somebody comes and asks you to fix it. And so sometimes there's only so much you can do with it. So you got to tell them that. You got to explain to them why you can't do this and why you can't do that. Sometimes it's better just to cover the whole thing up with something new and just do a bigger design. Cover-ups that's an art in itself. A good cover-up is like, I love doing cover-ups.
For the challenge?
Yeah. Yeah. Because when someone's got a bad tattoo and they hate it, and they don't even want to show that part of their body because they hate the tattoo so much, you know? And then you sit there and you cover it up, and you can't see that tattoo at all. And I'm talking like stuff that other people say that can't touch it up. I mean, they can't cover it up unless they do something really gigantic. Tell me I can't do something, and I'm gonna do it. That's always been me.
And I think that's the thing that might help, might push you and keep you be that fire moving forward. I got a couple questions.
Oh, you still got questions?
They're very simple.
No, I
Make sure that focus is right.
UL as an art teacher, and she got a job across the lake at St. Stanislaus.
Who's that?
It's an all-boy boarding school. It's half boarding school now and half not, but it's in Pass Christian.
Okay, I know what that's at.
And she got, I mean, a job right out of college as the head of the whole art department there. They need somebody, and she stepped into it, and she's doing awesome. But she's also an artist. She does shows at different galleries downtown and stuff. She gets little spots here and there, you know. Because of that, she sends stuff out all the time. But she sent me this thing called Sketchy. You ever heard of that?
Sketching on your phone?
No, it's a new. Actually, I don't know if it's new. It's an app, and it's artists that put their stuff out here. And a lot of these guys are getting work from the stuff that they're doing out here in this. It's like for artists only, you know. And you got to draw to get it on here. But the way they have it, you could probably figure it out more better than I can, because you pick something that somebody already has up there and you draw, and then you put it back up. Let's see, like this guy, he drew that, but that's the picture he drew it from. And he got this picture from somebody else's gallery. And he took it and drew it and put it up on his. And the reason that my daughter sent me this, because she had put a picture of me up here with, we got a hairless cat. And they had there was a picture, the picture that she sent was picked up by somebody, and they drew it. I don't know.
Is that like the defect for a cat to be hairless?
No,
like,
no, it's
like
a breed.
albino, to where you gotta watch the cat now because they might, you know, come with his own special set of challenges. Like you got to put your cat in a little sweater or something during the winter time because it might freeze.
They so awesome though, these cats. They have different personality than and some of the cats are good. You know, that's really awesome.
That sounds like my son. My son is enamored with cats because his mom picked up a stray. And I'm a dog person, so we have arguments all the time. As he loves cats, and I say I'm getting a dog.
I'm not a cat person. I just, my wife is, and it's like, here it is here. Look.
And you tolerate it. The cat doesn't even look real, man. It looks like the cat's almost stuffed, or the puppet, or the animatronic or something.
They're crazy though. They don't have the personality like a cat. It's more like a dog or a monkey, because it's a different kind of affection than a regular cat. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to describe. But you might want to check that out anyway.
Well, I'll put it down in my notes to look it up when I get home. Add it onto my stuff.
Something else to do.
Yes. Well, we're going to keep this real simple. A couple simple ones. First off, name.
Henri Montegut.
How you say it?
Henri. French. French for Henry. Henri. Henri Montegut.
Alright, because I was like, the last name, I was like, I'm guessing my people, but I don't.
Henri Montegut. And I'm a junior. I'm Henry Jr. Henri Montegut is my real name. But when I was born, they didn't want to call me Hank or Henry Jr. I think so. My aunt says she started calling me Henri, and that stuck.
Works. Well, how you been tattooing?
27 years. Well, I've had the shop for 27 years, so, but it's 30 years. I started 30 years ago.
Because I know you opened the shop up in 1990.
Right.
But I figured you were doing it much longer than that.
I did my 3-year apprenticeship. 3 years is what the apprenticeship usually lasts. And I did that, and one thing led to another, and I ended up opening my own shop because that's just the way I am. And with English Craig, who just passed away recently of cancer, unfortunately. But we opened up Electric Expressions. It was right next door, upstairs. And we were there for 10 years together, and I opened another shop, and he didn't want to do this other shop on Carrollton. And so I had 2 shops, and we had that one together. And then the shop on Carrollton, the building ended up getting torn down, so I had to move. I moved to Canal Street, and I hated it on Canal Street. So I decided to move back out here, and I'm back out here now.
And what made you first get into tattoos or want to get into the tattooing game?
Just the art part. I saw a lot of possibilities with it, and I had gotten a couple of tattoos. I played in a bunch of punk rock bands in the 80s, and from that I got a couple of tattoos. Only 2 or 3, and I got divorced. I opened a bar at 21, my own bar, and the marriage didn't last. That was not a good idea. And so I had to pay child support, and I'm sitting there, I need to do something. Tattoos might be a good thing to do on the side. So I said, I got a tattoo machine, and I said, this is too hard. You can't learn this medium just on your own. So I finally talked him into giving me an apprenticeship. I did that, and the rest is history.
Following that, what did it mean for a doc to take you underneath your wing and essentially you be his pupil or his apprentice?
Took a lot of convincing, because to get an apprenticeship is not easy. It still isn't easy. There's some people that do it just because, and then charge you. You know, back then they never charged you, and I still don't charge anybody. If I'm gonna teach you how to tattoo, you gotta really show me that you want to do it and that you can do it, and you're gonna be devoted to it. I'll work with you in any way, but you gotta really convince me that you're gonna be in it for the long haul. And when he took me in, it was like, I don't know, it was a good feeling, because I knew that he didn't take anybody, and but at the same time, Doc's kind of a weird guy. He's a very hard man to work for. But we got along good. Now we get along better than we ever did,
That's good. I think that was more common back then, man, and I think people was more willing to work hard for it. I mean, if people had to go through the same thing you might have had to go through back then, I don't think they'll make it these days.
Well, that's another thing. I worked every day from 8 to 5 at doing art at a screen printing company. I went home, I ate dinner real quick, and I went straight to the tattoo shop. I got there for about 6:30, and I stayed there till 10. And I did that for 3 years, every night, 6 nights a week. I look back on it and say, how the hell did I do that? I remember taking naps in my car at lunch, And yeah, even when I opened my own shop, I was kind of scared, because I didn't know what was going to happen with that. And I never felt like that with other jobs, with other things that I opened up. So I worked. I had a good boss at this place. I was working at United Expo, which is a convention company. They do all the graphics for conventions, all of the signs, and all of the different setups and stuff. And I had a lot of leeway there. So I worked half a day there, and I go to work at the tattoo shop half a day. And I did that for a year before I finally said, okay, I got it.
Great. So, simple question to go along with it. What was the first tattoo that you ever got?
Mighty Mouse.
Why Mighty Mouse holding a Confederate flag?
Well, it's got Louisiana written in it too. So it's got that extra meaning. People used to call me. I wrestled in high school. So this little 98-pound muscle guy, you know.
Nickname Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, you know, sounded like a good idea at the time.
I'm surprised you didn't pursue that.
What?
Wrestling.
No. I like working out now, but I hurt myself though, and I can't get back yet.
What was the first tattoo you personally ever did?
First one I ever did, I think it was an eagle on this friend of mine, a roommate that I had at the time, with my second wife. We had this friend of mine move in with his 2 kids because he lost his apartment or something, and I took him in to help him out. And he got an eagle on his arm, and it wasn't great, but we fixed it since then, and he loves it, you know.
Everybody went there first. They got sentimental value.
Yeah.
Only got 3 more. What or who else were some of the influences that helped develop your style you have right now?
There's a bunch of them. Guy Aitchison. He's an artist up in Illinois. He started in Chicago, and he was one of the. He started the same time I did, pretty much. Young guy. He was a lot younger than me, but we started at the same time, and he does all of this. He did this one here, and he did this one here. And this is the kind of stuff that he got into. I told him to take. I wanted the computers and tattoos were coming in together as they were starting to meld really strongly at the time, and I said I wanted something that's computer generated with a tattoo. So he took this and did it in his computer, and we did that one. He came down for the convention in New Orleans, because I host a convention here every year. This is the 25th year coming up, and he came. I had a lot of people come down here for the convention and whatnot to tattoo me. It was weird.
I saw you had it last November. I was like, I'm a day late and $1 short. I have to see about catching it this year.
Yeah.
For the 25th.
It's gonna be. We're gonna do a lot of good stuff with it. I think usually it's the Voodoo Fest weekend. Halloween weekend. Every year it's been the same weekend as the Voodoo Fest, but I think it's another guy up in Memphis that does it down here. And years ago he had started with a Memphis show, and that was one of the first conventions that I really went to. It was really hard to get into conventions back then, because just because you owned a shop and you did tattoos didn't mean that you could get in a booth at a convention. You had to send a portfolio and get, know somebody and all this kind of stuff to get in. And I always, that was one of my big goals. Like, I want to get in these conventions. I didn't know any of these big guys, but I sent my portfolio, and and I got in. I went to one in Amsterdam, like that. Got invited to that one, that was the biggest honor I've ever had, I think. That one.
You were blown away by the reception.
It was just, and they had a French guy there, and Tintin. and what's his name, Tintin, crazy guy, and he's from Toulouse, France, and he comes up to me, goes up to the booth, and goes, "Henri Montegut, I read a lot about you," and he knew how to say my name, and you know, it was, and he's in France, and he read the articles on me, you know, which was like really awesome, and he was somebody I admired, you know.
Sounds like you need to get that Instagram page flooded.
Yeah.
Get that website up, man. That way you can put that merchandise out, man.
Philip Liu, and Aaron Kane was another one. Vinny, Little Vinny. He's from Baltimore. I can't think of his last name right now. He did this one. He came down and did this at the New Orleans. Flew in and flew out the same day. And now he works. He does the nipple
the tattoo.
Yeah, and he's like so awesome. I mean, it looks, you cannot even tell.
I seen that.
But he works at Toro. He comes in from Baltimore, works at Toro. He works under my license because we got to be such good friends, you know.
I'm shocked you didn't get into that, because I mean, that sounds like once you
big
get
money
down, yeah.
Big money. They pick him up in a limo, set him up in the Ritz and all these other big hotels. Oh man.
I have two more questions. After such a long career, you've been doing this for over 30 years. What keeps you motivated? I know you told me earlier that, you know, a couple of things that motivated you, like cover up tattoos and things like that. It gives you a challenge. What challenge you to keep you going right now?
I don't know. I've never lost a love for it. I don't. It's one of those things that I've gotten into a lot more into painting, and that side of it. Before I never made the time for it because I worked a lot. I mean, I worked a lot of hours, and now I'm taking time and I'm painting, and that kind of gives me. It makes your tattoos better. Gives you another insight on how to do a tattoo, and it's all this industry is just changing. It has changed so much in the last 15 years. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's really, really come so far, and it's still changing. It's still getting better and better and better. You know. So I don't know. As long as they keep doing that, I guess I'll still be here.
I'll read an excerpt that I seen. I think you're somebody say. I gotta double check this one. I'll read this quote before that. Even right now, they say that this is the renaissance of tattooing. But my main thing for you is, in your own words, what is art? I know you've been through, just like you said, you're painting now, you're doing so many things, but if you had to sum it up to somebody who just asked you that question, or who just couldn't understand, what does art mean to you?
What does art mean to me? In what respect? Like, what? An artist, you know, it's kind of like, it's the way that you see things, and putting it onto the canvas or the tattoo or whatever. A lot of the stuff I like to do is, I like the fact that somebody comes in and wants you, they commissioning you to do it. So you're not like coming up with something out of your head a lot of times, which a lot of people, that's intimidating, you know, that somebody comes in and wants you to do something for them and they want it a certain way and all of that. A lot of artists like to do just whatever they want to do, and they don't sell a lot of stuff that way. This way, you know, you got that right on sale. And I don't know, it's a challenge. I don't know what art is. Art is just, an expression of everything that I've learned, Try to put it all into, try to use everything that I've learned some way. In the tattoo or in the painting and stuff. And you're constantly growing, It's never, if you quit growing, if you quit learning, you might as well quit. In anything. You should always learn more. I'm always reading, I'm always looking at stuff, trying to figure out a new way to do stuff. They laugh at me because I'm always trying to do something different. I'm like learning something different. Right now I'm trying to learn LED lighting and stuff. I'm just fascinated by it. I've always liked solar. Now I'm trying to learn how to make LED lights and stuff.
Well, I'm just even listening to you this whole time. I mean, might not know the definition, but it's intricately woven into the very fabric of you. I mean, it takes a creative person to open up their own bar, much less. You create music. I mean, that's just the ability to express yourself. I know my last friend who I did an interview with, who was an artist, he had a traumatic accident, fell off a motorcycle, and almost lost his hand. Right now, he doesn't have, life will never be the same. He doesn't have the full motion or the mobility of his hand still, and that's the dominant hand to which he does things. So it made him reevaluate life. But it also was a scary thing because that's his ability to express himself, much less provide for his family, but on a greater level to express, since you've been 2-3 years old, you've been on the ground drawing and coloring and just building at it, and whenever you had to escape from the world, that was your way to kind of escape and get into your own spot, to almost have that snatched away. I mean, me personally, I know, I was telling my wife, like, the worst day of my life was when I had strep throat and I couldn't talk. So it's like, if I couldn't talk, I couldn't live. Like,
right.
If I didn't have the access to my hands to be able to create music or create art in some form, I would rather die.
I think about that all the time because I got arthritis real bad, and it's like, you really with your hands, And I struggle with, but I do exercise, and some days I can't hardly. I go to hammer something, because I'm always building something, cutting with the saw, and I'll lose the grip. It's like, what the hell? I tore my shoulders out, and that's why I can't work out right now, because they still are not right. I tore them totally out of socket, and they've never gotten right. I had to sell my motorcycle.
I gotta get mine back right now. That's one of the things to where ain't nothing pretty much can compare to.
I have degenerative joint disease. I had both my knees replaced already. I was 40 years old and I had one of my knees replaced. It was bone on bone. I was in pain like you wouldn't believe. I was hobbling around like an old man. And that was the best thing I ever did, though. Got my knees done. But it's always something that seems like it's degenerating on me. But I don't even think about that. It's like I just keep on. As I can't do something or inhibit, I figure out another way to do it. I guess I don't know. I don't even think about it.
That creativity.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done. I'm just enjoying the conversation right now.
Let me show you this.